And so I came down to Lewiston a lot because, well, Lewiston Parkston because you guys have Costco. I have a large family. Costco, essentially, if Costco doesn't have it, you don't need it. Am I right? I mean, it's like you go to Costco and it's like, oh, a 200-pound bag of carrots for $6. Honey, back up the van. You know, and it's like if you don't have enough space to store it all, they'll sell you a freezer. So, you know, and then the problem is like you're walking out of Costco and you have that big orange cart, right? And you've got your freezer and your 200-pound bag of carrots, and there's no line, and there's two people that do those little squiggly things on your receipt. And so it's like, okay, which one do I pick? You know, I went to him last time, but I don't want him to feel bad. And finally, it winds up being like a tiebreaker, like, well, who puts the best smiley face on the receipt? You know, it's like, well, it goes to Ben here because he did the curly hair and the tongue sticking out of the mouth. So. I was supposed to get a bigger laugh. I'll be drinking a little bit of water here. This is my sight gag for the night. Oh, somebody's going to fail a drug test. Let's see. I love driving. We had to drive out here from, it's actually Burlington, Washington, which is located 60 miles north of Seattle. And it's about 380-mile drive. And you know, I love driving, and so that was not a problem for me. In fact, I actually used to deliver pizzas just because of how much I love to drive. And as you might tell, I had a problem. I'd be at the red light and there in the car, and Mr. Pizza sitting next to me here. Oh man, that smells good. I think they may have put an extra piece of pepperoni on there. They did. Oh yeah. And you know, as I got further into my career there, I got braver, and so I'd be like, you know, an ambulance goes by, it's like, oh, I'm going to be in this life for a while. Oh, they cut it unevenly. Find the smallest slice. They got spread out the rest. Yeah, some of you may recognize me. It actually got to the point where I was writing up fake orders just so I could take them out and eat them. And my boss didn't think it was that funny either. B6. Okay. The comedy thing, though, it kind of, well, see, actually, delivering pizzas and taking orders, it was, I came to a final conclusion that when you order a pizza, there are two minimum standards you should have. One, a minimum age of 12, and two, a minimum IQ of 12. And, I've dealt with people below on both categories. It's like you get these people that call and say, yes, can I have bacon and pineapple pizza? Sure, no problem. I'm writing it down. They say, do olives come on that? Can you order olives on that? and you know, the coffee thing kind of came from the pizza delivery because I was out delivering a pizza one night, and I got to this guy's house, and his total was $11.39. And he said, you know, here's your money. He gives me the money, and I said, hey, here's $5. Show your girlfriend a good time. And I said, you know, I wouldn't, but my wife hates it when I do that. He said, oh, you're killing me. Oh, here's $5 more. I was like, whoa! You're going to give me money to tell jokes? I got lots of jokes. And he said, here's another $1. Get out of here, kid. You know, and so suddenly I got an $11 tip on an $11 order, and that was good stuff. And it actually got to the point where I'd be delivering pizzas, and I'd go out, you know, to 20 different houses, and I would tell 20 different comedy routines, you know, on 20 different courses, and people would actually call and request me by name. And so people, you know, they take orders. They say, you know, thank you for choosing Happy Pizza Parlor, and they'd say, yeah, we'd like to order a pizza. Can Paul deliver that? And they'd say, sure, but only if he has fresh material. Well, all of our toppings and pizza is made fresh. Okay, whatever. Just send Paul. When you know, as the years ground on at that job, I actually got to the point where they trusted me with management. And this one night, actually, it was late at night. It was about 1 in the morning, and I'd done a bunch of inventory stuff, and we had closed at 10 o'clock, and I hear this rattling at the door. And I kind of lean out from the office and I look, and there's someone standing out there. And he checks the sign, and the sign says we closed at 10 o'clock, and he checks his watch, does one of these in the window. And I'm thinking, oh boy, I've got a break in here. So I go sneaking off to the kitchen so I can get one of those big pizza cutting knives. Because if he's breaking in, I'm going to help him pry open that cash register. And so and he does one of these, he sees me, he waves me over, and I'm thinking, oh boy, okay. And So I go over to the door, and he says through the door, "Are you guys open?" "Yeah, I saw you coming and I locked the doors and turned off the lights." "No, I'm not open." And he says, "What time is it?" And I said, "It's what? O'clock?" "No, a watch." Yes, it's 1 o'clock. And then he says, "In the morning?" "What is this, the winter solstice in Alaska?" And the worst part about it was this guy had a job. I know he had a job because he was well dressed, and he was better dressed. He's better dressed than I am now. Not that I'm that well dressed, but he was better dressed than I am. And I figured he's probably the guy that came up with the billboard that said, "Are you illiterate? We can help." I might as well say, "Are you blind? We can help." Or maybe he's the guy that put the braille at the drive-up ATMs. On the subject of billboards. I need to talk about it a little bit. It sounds like you had a food drive, and over in Seattle, they have these giant billboards that have this picture of this cute little girl, and she is hungry, and she's sitting there, and she's got a knife and a fork in her hands, and there's this empty plate in front of her, and it says, "Molly's ready for dinner. Will you help fill her plate?" And I saw that, and I was like, "Oh, Molly. Oh, Molly. I want to feed Molly, but I want to figure out where this food bank is. Oh, there's a Sherwin-Williams store over there. I got some paint. I gave Molly some peas and carrots. You wait right there, Molly. I'll be back. Some ice cream. I'll be right down, officer." Great, this is great. Now I'm encouraging vandalism. Went to Washington State University. I have 2 Bachelor of Arts degrees in liberal arts, which means I'm a cook. I was actually assistant manager at a